It's here. It is day one of Tour de Fleece. It's like 6 something in the morning, but I'm excited. I spent last night clearing off a bunch of my storage bobbins with old odds and ends. So I plied up a whole bunch of just sort of scrappy singles in different colorways. I haven't washed and set them, but just sort of comboed whatever. Had a lot of fun. I haven't honestly used my e-spinner in so long. This one's chain plied. It's not very well balanced, but I had so much fun just playing with some colors, and this is all like old memories. Like this, the basis of this, the most red, if you go to my Instagram, is my hand spun holiday sweater I made, which was a DRK everyday sweater out of like a red blend that I did on my blending board, and I made a whole sweater, and it was so much fun for like Christmas time. And then the rest of these were honestly like singles that I had, some of them for over a year. Like I had actually labeled my storage bobbins. So now all my bobbins are empty. I have no in progress anything. These I'll just set aside. I'll wash them later. These aren't part of Tour de Fleece, but it really sort of reinvigorated me and got me super pumped up to start today. So here's where I'm planning to start. I have this blend. Oh, I should have brought the swatch down here, but I didn't, so don't worry about it. Which is a combination of these Shetland BFL cross wash wool locks that I got from Smallbird Workshop in BC, and I've picked them, and my plan was to card them up with some Polwarth, which is from this braid from Myrtle Yarn, her color called Pico, to give it some sort of depth and bounce, because when I was first carding up some of this fleece, I really didn't love the texture for a sweater, for finished garment. But when I combine it with Polwarth, it's really like bouncy and soft. It made this wonderful texture, and I've also added a little bit of alpaca. So this is just a natural color alpaca. This is undyed. Obviously, this is undyed, and then this is a hand-dyed braid from Myrtle Yarn. And so the three of them together in a certain proportion, let me just tuck it back in the bag out of the way here, on the carder becomes batts like these. So I have a couple batts, and I'll card up more batts as I go. But I wanted to sort of open this up. So I actually carded these quite a while ago. And I just love it because like there's really subtle shifts. And it takes something that I didn't love the way that it was working up and feeling on its own for a garment, and makes it totally spin worthy for a sweater. So what I'm planning to do is a traveler shell, which is like a slip-on short sleeve cardigan type thing. And I've already done my swatch, which I should have brought. I'm going to pause the video after I prep a little bit of this before I spin. So I'll make sure I grab the swatch then, which is also just part of the pocket for the pattern. And yeah, I love it. It's hard to see. It's not really picking up the subtle color shifts, but there are subtle color shifts. This one has a little less than some of the other ones, because it depends what section of the braid. So if we look at the braid again, when it picks up some of these purple sections, it gives this really nice, super, super soft, and the blue sections. So you'll see that in the swatch. But anyways, I figured on the video, I would grab one of my batts. I'm still new to drum carding, but here we go with my low production value. But this, like, I love being able to combine things, and I'm so excited to explore it. More. But all I'm going to do is I'm going to strip this batt lengthwise into little strips. That those fleece, that Shetland BFL cross fleece, is a really long staple length. So look at this beautiful airiness. So the swatch that I did is a 2-ply of this blend, and it was spun long draw. So nice and airy, a woolen spun and a woolen prep. You can really see like the fuzziness. And I love this, like using a combed top braid and then using it to sort of add a bit of color and texture and interest to a raw fleece is just like so exciting to me. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to strip these two batts down like this, and then I'm going to get started, I believe. So my plan is to spin this on my CPW, which is a Canadian production wheel, which is a traditional, like over 100-year-old wheel I got off Facebook Marketplace that is wonderful for long draw and for really nice thin singles. The one thing I don't like about it is it doesn't have a removable bobbin. So I have to move everything off that bobbin onto a storage bobbin, which isn't a big deal. But it is a little bit of a pain in the butt. And the bobbin only holds usually around 50 grams of fiber. I've stretched it really far, but yeah, I think I'm going to do this on my production wheel. And I will put a little bit of it in this video. And then my second project, because I always have two on the go, when I'm doing something that's a bigger spin like this is going to be basically almost a sweater quantity, that I'm hoping to finish spinning at least during Tour de Fleece. But it can get a little monotonous, right? It can get a little boring when it's just sort of a neutrally color and it's a lot of the same. So I'm also going to make sure that on one of my other wheels, my castle wheel probably, my Lewitt. I say Lewitt, but if I'm wrong, someone tell me. And I'm going to do something a little more fun. So there's one of the bats stripped, and I'll strip the second bat off camera. So my fun sort of punch of color one, and if you go back and watch my first video, you can see sort of a summary of all the fiber that I've pulled that I might do during Tour de Fleece. This is going to be a 2-ply. This is Cormo from A Lair Artifacts, Melanie. Her stuff is so gorgeous, all of it. And go look at her photos on her Instagram because it's insane. But yeah, this is Cormo. This is dyed braids. Both of them are 50 grams, and I've already like pulled them apart and stripped them. So I just split them vertically, the braids, and then I'm going to do them each one end to end as a single ply and a single ply them together. And I'll probably, I really wanted to pair this, like I want to do this bright. I'm not really a neon person, but I think it'd be really fun to spin because I've never spun something this bright. But I am going to tone it down with this, which is still bright, right? And it ties together a little bit without being overwhelming. I did have another sort of fluorescent braid, but I decided to save that one for something different. So these two together to make like socks, or like a fun hat, or maybe like a contrast color for a project. And these are going to be my first project. So I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to get set up and actually start spinning a bit of this. Okay, first of all, I did remember to bring my swatch. So this is my swatch, which is also acts as a pocket for the Traveler Shell. So pro tip, if you are doing the Traveler Shell by Andrea Mowry, and yes, I do a lot of her patterns. I basically learned to knit from her patterns. So I am a bit of an Andrea stan. But yeah, if you want a hot tip, it's do the pocket as your swatch. Because that way, if you get gauge, it becomes part of the pocket. But you can see sort of the color shifts from that braid that I was showing you in this, some of which will be really light and subtle because the braid has a lot of sort of muted pinks in it. But when you get the pops of purple or blue, it's going to have this sort of nice effect that I think from far away is just going to be like really subtle. And I am obsessed. So this is what I'm going for. This is roughly the thickness that I'm going for in my finished 2-ply. I did try it in a 3-ply as well. I just did not like the way it worked up as much. So, in true low production value fashion, I am going to try to actually spin some of this live. And this is my Canadian production wheel. It's got a huge wheel on it. I think it's a 21 or 24 inch wheel, something like that. So it goes really, really fast. One turn of the wheel will turn the flyer many, 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 many times. So let's see how we're doing with our tension. Well, that's pretty good. I did a little preliminary setup, of course, just to make sure. This wheel is a little bit noisy, like clacky, and that is okay. Right now, I'm not quite long drawing, I'm just kind of backwards drafting, just to try to get into a rhythm. Again, I will not be editing these videos or anything like that, because if I try to edit them, I never actually put them out. And I want to just put them out there for people. I love watching videos of people actually spinning, or their thought process behind projects. It's not your thing, no worries. But I figure I like watching them. Maybe I can put some out so that other people can watch them. And if you have people who you love watching this spinning process with, if you love their videos, please let me know, because I'm looking to fill up my YouTube feed with more and more and more, because I find myself a little Netflixed out these days. So far this is going really beautifully and really fast. That's what I love about this wheel and doing more of a long draw. This is like a, need to join. This is more of like a supported long draw, because I am sort of pinching it with my finger from time to time. I do find like it's so easy to spin long draw on here, and the thread stays so strong. Sometimes when I'm doing more of a long draw, it seems like it's gonna break at any moment. This seems so strong. I'm kind of over twisting a little bit. Anyways, I just wanted to get sort of up and going a little bit on the wheel to show a little bit of my process. But yeah, this is my very first Tour de Fleece project for this year. My very first spin. You've been here for it live, which is like super exciting. I'm gonna work away at this bit by bit over time, and I do hope to check in with my progress pretty regularly. But if you follow on Instagram, that's where you'll see probably the most sort of action shots, because that's where I just snap a quick still and toss it up there. So hopefully you're enjoying Tour de Fleece. I am actually loving that it's raining so far today, this morning, so that might, you know, keep me indoors a little bit more and doing a little bit more spinning. All right, see you later.